Okay, good morning, everybody. For what's left of the Saturday morning, we are so thrilled to have you participate in the second offering of the Grit Orientation for Students. So just for everybody in here, this is for students who are enrolled in College Depot Grit, which we're going to talk more about what it means in a second. But this is, if you're enrolled in College Depot Grit, this is basically introduction to kind of talk about what Grit is and how this program is work, and then also what to expect for your senior year. So it'll just kind of be like a general overview of what the year is going to be. Yeah, you can leave it right there on that first slide. So just housekeeping, it's a pretty small group. There's about 10 people. So if you have questions, comments, anything along the way, just go ahead and type them in the chat. Also, again, since it is a small group, feel free to just unmute yourself and you can just ask your question or your comment or anything like that. So we had this session on Tuesday evening. It went pretty well, and there was a lot of good dialogue throughout the entire session. So that's our goal. Of course, this is virtual world, but we do want to engage everybody as much as possible and just make sure that this is as beneficial to you as can be. So not real heavy on the content, like everything. It's going to be real kind of just overview kind of stuff. And we just wanted to make sure that you had time to, I guess, understand things, and then also kind of voice your concerns or questions. I keep saying the word questions, but anything like that. So just feel free to chime in at any point. So my name is Christopher Lucan Seidel. I am the assistant director at College Depot. I am the one that kind of led the efforts with a small group of College Depot advisors to put together Grit. And basically this program, we piloted it on a very small group of students last year. And then this year, just with everything going on, we just felt it was really important for us to provide a quality program to keep all of you connected to resources and support and guidance to all things college throughout your senior years, just since the whole uncertainty of the world, with schools being closed and then open and then closed, and then and then other organizations that you may have gone to get support with college access and readiness, just they can be closed and all of that. So we just wanted to provide a quality virtual program that would keep you connected to supports throughout your entire year. So we're going to get more into it. I'm going to hand this over to Bianca Ramirez, who also is a brainchild for developing this program and came up with the name Grit itself and a lot of the content. So I'm going to hand it over to her and she'll go into more detail. So just again, thank you all. We're incredibly excited to be a part of your journey through your senior year of high school into adulthood and into college. So, all right, it's all yours, Bianca.
Thank you, Chris. And good morning, everyone. I'm so happy that you guys were able to join us on a weekend, which is crazy to say. Pretty awesome of you guys to be here to kind of get an intro to what we are trying to accomplish for this school year. So our mission at College Depot is to expand access to higher education opportunities for underserved populations in the Phoenix community by offering free, comprehensive re-engagement and college planning services. This is because as advisors, especially in the Phoenix area, we noticed that a lot of students come into our center coming with questions and help that we wish we could have reached out months and months before so they can be ahead in the process of the college applications, as well as scholarships and everything in that sorts. So we're honestly your landline when it comes to college resources and applications. Just like an example would be your application that you have to do for FAFSA. A lot of students have heard of it, some haven't. So those are the things that we do at the center that we are going to help moving forward. So that's just a little brief introduction to what College Depot is. And then can we all move to the next slide, please? So what does GRIT stand for? Graduating, ready, independent, and tenacious. Essentially, we created this acronym for GRIT. GRIT is a word on its own. It's actually a psychology term referring to having a goal, but pursuing it with passion. So those are things we're going to get into, and we are going to share a video with a little bit more detail, because having grit in your life alone will help you accomplish not only your post-secondary education goals, as well as your goals in your area of Let's say you are an artist. Let's say you want to write. Let's say you are in a sport. It's just your ability to put your mind in a mindset that will be successful. So this is what we want to be successful in: graduating, ready, and being independent and tenacious, having the ability to stay on and move forward, especially when we see that life has trying times such as the one we find ourselves in right now. So just keep this in mind throughout the presentation. This is what we're striving and aiming for with this program, but there are going to be a little bit of details that are going to go into it. So that's what we're going to cover next. So who am I? My name is Bianca Ramirez. I'm an AmeriCorps ARCC member. I have been since I graduated high school, which is crazy to say because I am just a semester and a half away from graduating college at Arizona State University. A quote that I think is something very inspirational for me when I think about grit is: great thoughts speak only to the thoughtful mind, but great actions speak to all mankind. And that essentially goes to, if you have these great thoughts, like, they come to very mindful people, but it's what you do with those thoughts and how you pursue them that they will speak on a higher level in a greater platform. So the grittiness refers to what was my passion and how did I pursue it. So I'll be the first person in my family to get a college degree, and the first female as well, which makes me very excited. I will be graduating in May. And over the span of 3.5 years, I was able to pursue my passion of traveling to Canada, 2 European countries, and I was able to live in South America for half a year, which has given me so much insight into just my field of study, but also within myself and understanding my community. And so welcome. And this is just kind of an intro for me. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to the next slide, where we're going to introduce our next presenter.
Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Bianca, can you hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Cool. Perfect. Awesome. So hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning. My name is Victor Arevalo. I am the co-presenter with Bianca, and I'm also an AmeriCorps ARC member. I graduate at Arizona State University with a bachelor's degree in acting. The quote that I live by is a quote that I created for myself: is turn a negative into a positive. Right now we are, in bad times where things are uncertain and we could view it as a negative thought, like, oh my goodness, if things are going bad, what should we do? Always remain optimistic, remain positive, and just turn whatever negativities in your life, make that into a positive. Don't let the negativity bring you down. Let it embrace it and let it push you to turn it into a positive outcome. And the grittiness that I live by is I've been rejected from a certain school that I wanted to go to for acting, and I've been rejected for certain shows that I wanted to perform in. But here I am, helping each individuals out, whether it be with plans towards college and those steps towards college, or in acting. Cool. So we have an icebreaker questions for you guys. So the question that we ask is, what does college mean to you? And you could answer this in the chat box, or you could unmute yourself and let us know the answer. Oh, well, let us know what college means to you. There isn't a right or wrong answer. We just want to know your input of what college means to you.
And you can take a moment to think about this. And when you feel confident, or just, have like a brief idea, bullet point idea, you can go ahead and put that in the chat, so we can all see.
So we're getting some multiple answers in the chat box. We are seeing growth, opportunity for a better life, a building block for success. One said, feeling as if I conquered a concrete dream of mine, a gateway of lifetime of success, an opportunity for self-development. Someone's a chance to explore. Another one that I like is a key to multiple locked doors. I like that. Cool. Anybody else wants to add on?
Yeah, if I can chime in, I think like these are all just remarkable responses, and it can tell just the depth of understanding that that you as high school students, seniors now, have into like how valuable high school or college actually is to you. Like a lot of these are really good, you know, in terms of, I mean, conquering dreams, lifetime of success, personal self-development. Like these are, you know, multiple unlocked door or unlocking multiple doors. So it's exploration from Kevin. Like this is like truly amazing. Just to consider, you know, a standard answer is, you know, get a good job or, you know, make a lot of money or, you know, and those things I guess could be true, but it's like, it really is like, higher access to higher education is, you know, something, not to sound cliche, but it's something that nobody can ever take from you, right? And it really, not only does it open up your professional opportunities, you know, employment opportunities and that type of thing, but just the experiences that you have outside of school, as well as just the knowledge that you gain through the course content and all of that. It really is going to just help you like grow in your mental capacities, like your perceptions of the world, your place in the world that you perceive, and then just what type of influence you are seeking to have. So it's really, there's really no way to measure what it means, you know, what college actually means. If you think about it in just like this huge perspective. So it seems like everybody has that potential. So you are certainly gritty at the core. So I just wanted to point all that out.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Bianca, would you like to add anything on to the icebreaker question?
Just like a good understanding, it's like this whole life you've been kind of scheduled to have, you know, your honors classes, your AP classes, and then at a certain point you get to senior year and they're telling you about college, with probably you haven't been thinking about it since, you know, like last semester, or you haven't thought about it all till now. But it's a good opportunity for you as a student to start figuring out what does college mean to you, and that way you can start figuring out what you're going to do in college. So getting to college is our goal as advisors, to help you get there, you know, get admitted, have everything you need so you can start in August of 2021. But what does it mean for you to be there is something that you need to unlock as a student, to help maintain your attendance for the next 4 years. And I think that's the last little bullet points I'm going to include in that.
Awesome. Well, awesome. Thank you guys for participating. That you guys, your answers are amazing. And again, just I want to add something to that. Of course, you know, everyone has their own specific meaning of what college means to them. Not everyone is going to be sharing the same value of what college means to that individual, or what you're going to experience once you graduate from high school and going into college. Each individual has their own growth, own goals, and own process to reach those goals and that growth. But of course, we are here to help you get to where you want to get to. Cool. So next slide that we are going to be sharing, give me a moment, please, is do you have grit? So it's going to be a 6-minute video that we're going to share with you guys. And then after the video, Bianca will explain more about the video.
Please let us know in the chat if you have any difficulties.
Oh, yes.
Victor, I don't think the audio, is anybody able to hear the audio?
No.
Cool, thank you. Let me do something quickly.
Yep.
by Angela Duckworth. Angela is a psychologist at the University of Pennsylvania, and she's obsessed with finding out the answer to the question, who's successful and why? She's conducted studies involving national spelling bee champions, elite military training graduates, and top corporate salespeople to determine what was the biggest predictor of their success. She wondered, was it talent or was it effort? Now, our society would have us believe that it would be talent. We have the tendency to marvel at natural talent and overlook the importance of effort. Surveys show that we commend people who put in the effort, but we don't actually believe it can compete with natural talent. We often discount our own abilities when going up against people who have a higher IQ or appear more naturally gifted. But Angela has found the following to be true in study after study. Where talent counts once, effort counts twice. Angela explains this using a simple formula. Talent times effort equals skill, and skill times effort equals achievement. When you apply effort to any base level talent, you get skill. When you apply effort to skill, you get achievement. The science shows that grit, the sustained application of effort towards a long-term goal, is the biggest predictor of lifelong achievement. For some, it's an inconvenient truth. Certain people like to see natural talent and use it as an excuse as to why they would never achieve what those people can, and don't even bother trying in the first place. But for others, it can be liberating, knowing that they're not doomed to mediocrity due to a lack of talent. If they put in the effort, they can achieve great things. Sure, there are some limitations. All of us can't make the NBA. We're not all 6'9". But you could become one of the best players in your local basketball league. By remembering that talent counts once, effort counts twice, we can be hopeful that we can one day become more than we think we can, that we can achieve great things despite not winning the talent lottery. But being gritty is hard. Resisting endless temptations to quit or experiencing failure is extremely difficult to deal with. But Angela says we all have the ability to grow our grit if we direct our focus in 4 specific ways. First, develop a fascination with what you're trying to do. Second, strive to improve each day. Third, remind yourself of the greater purpose. And fourth, adopt a growth mindset. Charles Darwin admitted to not having great quickness of apprehension. To discover the mysteries of natural science without possessing supernatural intelligence, Darwin developed an obsessive fascination and was said to keep questions alive in the back of his mind, questions that related to what he was observing, that drove him to discover the connection between all living things. His deep interest in the natural sciences and constant questioning led him to the breakthrough that we now know as the theory of evolution. So what questions are most intriguing to you? Find the questions that fascinate you, and you'll find the capacity to stay gritty while trying to achieve something great. Next, aim to improve yourself every single day. Compete with who you were yesterday. Olympic gold medal swimmer Rowdy Gaines once said, at every practice, I would try to beat myself. If my coach gave me 10 100-meter swims one day and asked me to hold it to 1 minute and 15 seconds, the next day, he would give me 10 100-meter swims, and I would try to hold it to 1 minute and 14 seconds. Angela says that the refrain of all paragons of grit is that whatever it takes, I want to improve. It doesn't matter how excellent they already are. So how can you carve out time each day to push your abilities and seek constant and never-ending improvement? The third way to grow our grit is to remind ourselves of the greater purpose. Angela conducted a survey of 16,000 adult Americans to determine what was a bigger contributor of grit, obtaining a feeling of pleasure or feeling a greater sense of purpose. She found that people on the upper half of her grit scale experienced a similar level of pleasure in what they were doing, but she found that higher levels of purpose directly correlated to higher levels of grit. Angela says, the most gritty people see their ultimate aims as deeply connected to the world beyond themselves. You could be a bricklayer simply laying the bricks for a cathedral, or you could be a bricklayer building the house of God. It's largely up to you to determine what purpose or greater meaning your work has. Whatever you come up with has the capacity to raise your level of grit. The last way to grow your grit is to develop a growth mindset. Bill McNabb, the past CEO of Vanguard, the world's largest provider of mutual funds, interviewed leaders within the organization to see who were successful and who weren't. He found that long-term success was dependent on a core belief. Those who believed that I can't learn anymore. I am what I am. This is how I do things. Routinely failed to move up to a senior level. To be gritty, you need to scrap the theory that your abilities are fixed, because it's simply not true. Neuroscience has shown that we have an enormous capacity to change our brains and learn new skills as we get older. The brain is plastic, and you can mold it through sustained effort and experience. Reflect on a time when you started something new that you were scared you couldn't learn, but you actually did. Use the memory of that experience to disrupt any beliefs that your abilities are fixed. In the end, Angela says that learning to stick to something is a life skill that we can all develop. By remembering that the science shows that grit matters more than talent, and that we all have the capacity to grow our grit, we can develop the confidence to start taking action despite how untalented we think we are. That was the core message that I gathered from Angela's book. She has much more material to help you understand the science of achievement. I highly recommend it. If you would like a one-page PDF summary of the insights that I gathered from Angela's book, just click the link below and I'd be happy to email it to you. If you already subscribe to the free Productivity Game newsletter, this PDF is already in your inbox. Thank you for watching.
Cool. Are you guys able to see the screen?
Yeah.
Cool, perfect, awesome. So Bianca, would you like to add on to that?
Yeah. So do you have grit? So as a student moving forward, I know like through the 4 years of high school, you can develop kind of a personality in a sense and expectations for yourself as a student, whether you're a procrastinator, whether you, do things on time, or whether you do things as busy work rather than life work. So these things will continue as you go into your freshman year. And if you do want to have a change of pace, you can reinvent yourself when going to college. And I know that does sound like a cliche because you hear it constantly in movies, constantly in posts, but at the end of the day, it's true. This is your ability to kind of put yourself in a perspective that you're aiming to do life's work rather than just going to do your bachelor's. And if you put that foot forward, a lot of things will change in the sense of strategies, the way you do your homework, the way you understand your homework, and kind of everything else that falls in between. So reinventing yourself as a student, putting yourself goals in the beginning of the semester, saying that this is how you want to finish the semester and this is how you're going to start off, and having those checkpoints really will help you with this transition from high school to your freshman year of college.
Cool, perfect, awesome. So next we're going to talk about is timeline. We're going to talk about the fall timeline and the spring timeline that seniors are supposed to be doing or a recommendation of what you should be following. So we already passed the month of August, but in the month of August, we asked that students should be finalizing their school list and apply to post-secondary institutions to start applying for the colleges or universities that you are interested in going. To create a goal and what you want to accomplish this school year. So making those goals that you want to accomplish throughout your senior year. Example, community involvement, published artwork, read a novel, find an internship, working part-time. And then also doing scholarship research. We are in the month of September. So in the month of September, students should be already refining and working on their personal statements and essays, asking for a letter of recommendations 1 to 2 months in advance, create a student resume, and find time for yourself to settle in the school routine. So for the asking for a letter of recommendation, we always tell our students to ask teachers, your counselor, mentors, those who have known you for at least more than a year to write letter of recommendations for you. And always ask them in advance. Do not ask them like a week before you need to turn something in. Of course, usually scholarships are the ones that are asking for a letter of recommendations. And if a scholarship is due, for example, say next week, don't ask your, we recommend do not at last minute give your teacher or your counselor or your mentor that 1 week notice of saying, hey, I need a letter recommendation in by next week. Best is to have it like letting them know a month or 2 months in advance, so they have time to write out the letter recommendation, and it could be, you know, good and perfect, so they could send it to the scholarship or to wherever you are applying at. And then for October and December, as we enter the month of October, as all you guys know, FAFSA is opening up on October 1st. So September, hopefully you created your FSA ID. So like that, entering October, you already have that, and you're already on your way to start doing the application for FAFSA. And of course, then you have completed all your post-secondary applications and submissions, continuing on the scholarship research, and then advocating for yourself and making sure your grades are good and are in good health, and then wrap up anything remaining to do items before entering into the new year.
Awesome. And then for the spring timeline, we'll start in January with reviewing any scholarship or updates, so checking student accounts for any remaining to-do items. So these student accounts will come once you complete your college application and have been accepted. You will have a username and password to then access any remaining to-do items, which we will see in January through the month of April. So in February, though, we're going to continue researching your institution's resources and opportunities to get involved over the summer. Are they having an orientation for a club that you're interested? Are they having community service hours that you want to get involved in? Or are there certain tabling events that are going to be happening online? That all depends on how they're going to be moving forward with everything that is going on at the moment. But this is why we need to research their websites and communicate with the school to know how you can get on those opportunities rather than be left behind. So continue scholarship search if needed. This is if any, pending financial aid that you need to find some extra financial assistance, we will be able to help you and assist in that. So March and April, we're going to review your award letter and then design a financial plan. So your award letter is something that you will receive in kind of the last thing of this is how much we're offering you from the school's perspective of based on your academic as well as financial need that is then found through FAFSA. But you are also going to have to decide whether you want to work study, whether you need to work part-time and go to school, whether you want to work part-time and go to school. Sign up for orientation, keep parents informed on the process and how they can support you. This is a really big one, and this is why we do parent orientations as well. A lot of students think that, their parents don't need to get involved, but the parent that is involved, a student has higher success rate in the sense that they have the support that they need and the attention where they need it as well. Also, it is a very, time where in your life where after 13 years of education, public education that you've been, traveling back and forth with your parents, you're finally going to have an opportunity to either stay on campus if you want, if that's something for you, or even leave out of state. So in May is College Decision Day on May 1st. So you don't have to decide until May 1st which school you're attending to, meaning if you have 3 schools on your mind still, and you're going to have 3 schools on your mind till May, that's okay. But on May 1st, you're going to have to decide which school you're going to attend based on your financial award letter, based on what you want to get involved in. So all these things that are going to lead up to this big decision. So then you graduate class of 2021, congratulations. But there's something that we do want to kind of highlight is enjoying your summer is a must, but do not melt away. In the sense, stay on top of your student portal with any important updates. So even though this program will come to a conclusion, there's things that we as advisors will still be available for you as students to help you complete any of those final to-do items on your student portal, whether that's sending in vaccination, whether that's sending in your letter of agreement for your lease on your dorm, deciding a meal plan, all these things. So enjoy your summer, but do not melt away is kind of the thing we want to stay on top of when graduation comes.
Awesome. So next, we're gonna just briefly to talk about the advisors. So some of you may have had your advisors reach out to you this past week. If not, this upcoming week, you'll be receiving an email or phone call or or message from them letting you know that they want to create an initial one-on-one appointment with you, which are 45 minutes to get to know you more, get to know your interest and the steps that you have probably taken towards college or that you are taking, and your plans towards college. So we will start with Abigail Lopez. So Abigail Lopez, she is an college access coordinator. She graduated from Arizona State University. Her quote is, "An investment of knowledge pays the best interest," by Benjamin Franklin. And her grittiness is, "A dreamer trying to live up to the dream." Next, we have Diana Matier. She is the College and Career Financial Aid Manager. She graduated from Kent State University, University of Phoenix, and Arizona State University. Her quote is, "No matter how bad I may feel today, the sun always comes up tomorrow." And her grittiness is, "I am relentless in my efforts to solve problems and find answers." DOMINIQUE DeRose, she's also an AmeriCorps ARC member from Arizona. She is currently in Arizona State University. Her quote is, "Success is a journey, not a destination." And her grittiness is, "Moved high schools my junior year due to bullying, but have overcome obstacles to get me where I am today." Graduating in May 21 with bachelor's in educational studies. Next, we have Megan Mayerson. She is the college access assistant. She graduated from Occidental College. Her quote is, "Shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you will land among the stars." And her grittiness is, "Ready to jumpstart this fall semester, never give up in school, and got a master's degree in mental health counseling and behavioral medicine." Next, we got Fanny Sanchez Villarreal. She is an AmeriCorps ARC member. She's attending her first year at Arizona State University. Her quote is, "The secret of getting ahead is getting started," Twain. And her grittiness is, "To tend to take on too much, but I always get things done." And I'll leave Chris to do his. Christopher.
Okay, thank you, Victor. My name is Christopher Lucan Seidel, College Depot Assistant Director. And let's see, I have my bachelor's in Spanish at ASU, my master's in public administration, and I'm currently working on my doctorate in education. And quote, "Less is more." Let's just leave it at that to identify with the quote. And then grittiness, I originally dropped out of high school at the age of 16, but as I mentioned, I'm now working on my doctorate. So it really isn't how you start, but how you finish.
Awesome, awesome. All right. Oh, whoops. All right, Bianca.
I cannot. Oh, there it is. I was like, I couldn't see the slide. It was not pulling up. Is that the first one we're starting off with? Grit
Yeah.
goal?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, what's the grit goal? So why do we have you here, and why have you stayed along the ride to this point? So students to have a point of contact for all things college. That is our goal. So with school being, the way it is, on the platform it is, we want you to have a point of contact, anything to do with college, a time set aside for you to start planning and kind of advocating for yourself. So maintain contact through student senior year. So that means anytime between now to the time you graduate, we're going to be working with you through via online, which is right now, virtual meetings, phone calls, and emails and communication if need be. So essentially, through these platforms, we're going to assist students with essential steps leading to college enrollment. So that's in college enrollment is different from when you get accepted to college. So a lot of students think that once I get accepted, I'm done. That's it. I'm just going to have to wait. And, my schedule is going to be there. Everything's going to be ready to go for August. But the thing is, one thing is to be accepted, and the other thing is to complete your college enrollment process, which all the steps we're here to help you, whether that is forms, legal forms. A lot of students do have complications with them, and they send them 3 or 4 times back. The school sends these forms back, and the student's like, I don't know what I'm getting wrong. That's why we're here to help you. Students learn how to advocate for themselves through this process, knowing how to ask those questions. At some point in your college career, you're going to have a charge on your financial aid account that is going to be like $30, and you're going to say, what the heck? Where did I get this? There are times where they have made mistakes on their end as a university. I have advocated for myself going and saying that this wasn't a charge that I had done, and they actually put it for the wrong Bianca Ramirez, that charge. So advocating for yourself, knowing where to find that information, staying on top of your student portal maintenance and all of that will help you just be more successful in the sense that you don't have to constantly be worrying or being set back by those things that you can avoid knowing already going in. And then being able to start college next fall is something very exciting. We want to keep the enthusiasm going for you students because it is an experience that you guys are well in deserving. So that is our great goal. And for the next slide, so the GRIT process. Do you want to take this one, Victor? Do you want me to?
I can jump in and take this one.
Okay, sweet. Go ahead.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah, this is pretty much the last slide. And so this is really the process going forward. This whole program, GRIT, really is kind of like a choose your own adventure. So it really depends on the student, the advisor, what your goals are, what you've accomplished already. Some students who, we've experienced some students really need support every step along the way, whereas others kind of have a grasp for things, but need support here and there. So it will kind of ebb and flow. This is really like, there's a key structure that everybody follows, but really there's a lot of latitude. There's a lot of room to move, just kind of depending on your needs. And so again, coming back to what Bianca was talking about, like we're here for you to make sure that you have support, whether it's like constant support every week, or whether it's just a little bit of support in the beginning, and then kind of maybe check-ins monthly, or help with key things like understanding your financial aid packages, accepting your awards, finding once you get your award packages from your schools, just seeing if there's a gap in aid and just how to fill that gap. So at the end of the day, as was mentioned, our goal is that no matter what happens, going through this next year, that you start college in the fall at the least cost, possible. So ideally free, or at a low cost for you out of pocket or loans. So coming back full circle. So this is actually the week we just really launched GRIT. So your advisor should have reached out to you, or they will reach out to you here today or Monday or Tuesday. So by next week, made initial contact with your advisor. They probably shut you out an email or a phone call. And then the setup an initial appointment. So that will be next week, or possibly the week after. But by the end of September, you will have had a one-on-one appointment with your advisor, at least one one-on-one appointment. And that's really just to kind of get to know each other, for you to get to know the advisor to get to know you, understand what what you've done already, what your career paths, majors, schools, like that kind of thing. So just kind of figure things out, and then what have you done already, and then creating your own personalized senior plan from there. And that's coming back to the choose your own adventure. If that's still a thing, probably not, but like basically just what's the plan specific for you. So Victor and Bianca talked generally in broad strokes about the things that you want to accomplish throughout your school year, but that will be like more personalized for you depending on the schools that you're looking at, and majors, things of that nature. And then, of course, from there, really, staying in contact, phone and email, where we, unfortunately, at this point, we recognize that most students appreciate text messaging. Our advisors actually do as well. We just don't have that capacity in our program. So it's something we're working very, very actively. Hopefully, we'll be able to get something so that you can have that third method of contact with your advisor. But coming back, the point is just staying in contact via email or phone. And then setting up appointments as necessary. So, with key things. So we have certain benchmarks that we're hoping for everybody to complete as the year progresses, that are related to, like deadlines for schools and scholarships. So by the end of October, financial aid season kicks off on October 1. So by the end of October, everybody in GRIT to have completed their FAFSA, right, to process their FAFSA successfully, if they are able to fill out the FAFSA. And then going into November and December, that's really admissions. So that's just making any corrections to your FAFSA if necessary, but also we want everybody really by the end of November to have submitted their applications to all the different schools that they're planning on going to. January, February, that's when we want everybody to start getting, their acceptance, their awards, that kind of thing, acting on those, and so on and forth. So I'm not going to go into detail. Victor and Bianca already did a great job talking about that, but we'll set up follow-up appointments with you probably on a bi-weekly basis at first, and then maybe monthly or just kind of as needed. Going forward. And then if you choose, this does go, Bianca said it very well when she said, we don't want you to melt away over the summer. So we are here for you. So you may graduate from high school in May. We're open 12 months a year. So we're here for you. GRIT is from September through August. So we're here to get you, to assist you every step of the way for the entire way. So, so that's pretty much it.
And just ending on this note, kind of essentially it's up to you as a student to design your plan, and we're here to help you with that as well. So Chris, go ahead and give us.
Can you actually, Victor, can you go back to that last slide? Just don't want to gloss over that. Did you want to cover this, Bianca? I know you had a lot to say.
Real quick, because it goes into kind of the Rocky Balboa's inspirational speech, but the world is but a canvas to your imagination. And it is true, everybody is living a different point in their life, different perspectives. So it honestly depends on what you want to put out there that you don't already see for yourself. And college will help you get that in the sense of insight and education, but it's at the end, it's up to you to do what you feel best in the sense of what you want to provide moving forward. But yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. And if you notice, like the whole PowerPoint has just been this beautiful tapestries in the background. And then we end, of course, with this blank white canvas. And that's kind of where a lot of us are at right now. And I guess by us, I mean you as students. You certainly have the canvas out there, probably a few broad strokes. But just going forward, you're really going to start painting, the canvas of your life going into adulthood, and then also going into college. So paint brightly. Now, Victor, if you can come back to Rocky. So I don't know if anybody's familiar with Rocky. This is, we're going to kind of close. So up to this point, of course, everything that we mentioned about GRIT is like super positive, like just keep going, like never give up, and always put one foot in front of the other, even if you take two or three back. But we want this really kind of pulls GRIT all together in a really gritty fashion. So I just wanted to close with this. And then, of course, we're going to start ending. So please watch the video. It's amazing. But if you have additional questions or things that weren't clear for you, we're available to answer those after the presentation. So can you go ahead and hit play, Victor? And then the audio is not working again. Sorry.
Sorry about that, you guys. My laptop acts up, so.
No, mine has the same issue, so no judgment.
Stop sharing. I gotta reshare every time we play a video. Sorry about that. Cool.
Good.
You know, living with you, it hasn't been easy. People see me, but they think of you. Now with all this going on, it's gonna be worse than ever.
It don't have to be.
No, sure it does.
Why? You got a lot going on, kid.
Oh, what, my last name? That's the reason I got a decent job. That's the reason why people deal with me in the first place. Now I start to get a little ahead. I start to get a little something for myself, and this happens. Now I'm asking you as a favor, not to go through with this, okay? This is only gonna end up bad for you, and it's gonna end up bad for me.
You think I'm hurting you?
Yeah, in a way you are.
That's the last thing I ever wanted to do.
I know that's not what you want to do, but that's just the way that it is. Don't you care what people think? Doesn't it bother you that people are making you out to be a joke, and that I'm gonna be included in that? Do you think that's right? Do you?
You ain't gonna believe this, but you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up and say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you every day. It was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. I'm always gonna love you no matter what. No matter what happens. You're my son, you're my blood. You're the best thing in my life. But until you start believing in yourself, you ain't gonna have a life. Don't forget to visit your mother.
All right, perfect. So, Bianca, any
Sorry,
last words? Sorry
oh,
about
go
that.
ahead.
Yes. So, any last words that anybody has? Well, as Bianca or Chris.
There's no questions right now in the chat box, so so we're good to go on that. But in case any students do have any, further questions or concerns, if you do receive an email, if you haven't, check your spam box, or as well check your voicemails. If they left a voicemail for you, they pretty much do if you don't pick up the phone or if your voicemail is set up. But essentially, get in contact with your advisor.
Thanks, Bianca. Thank you, Victor. And thank you all. We're remarkably excited to be a part of your educational journey going forward. Thank you for taking the time out of your Saturday to join this orientation. We really feel it is beneficial to kind of set you up for success as a senior, and then also just to kind of understand what grit is all about, why we called it that, how it can lead you to be successful, and then also the process for College Depot grit. Going forward, just so that you kind of have an understanding. So that concludes everything. Again, we're excited and available for you no matter what you need. And we're available if you have any questions. You can unmute yourself, type it in the chat. I've said that a million times. Bianca said it, but just wanted to reemphasize that.
So we have one question saying, will you help with FAFSA as groups or individuals? So that's a very good question. So your advisor is here to help you out, no matter what you need help with when it comes to these college steps, and FAFSA is one of them. So if you want to work one-on-one with your grid advisor, let them know that you want to work on FAFSA. But also College Depot is offering FAFSA labs in the month of October, every Saturday of October. So if you also are interested in doing the FAFSA lab as a group, having other people around you, we're there to help you do that as well.
Also, I just posted in the chat. So I think Faith, that was your question. I believe you are a Phoenix Union High School student. Even if you aren't, Phoenix Union is hosting FAFSA labs as well, Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 for the entire month of October, except for fall break, which is the first full week of October. And that's for Phoenix Union or non-Phoenix Union. So anybody that's a high school senior, they can fill out there, get assistance filling out. Our staff will be participating. Victor will be there for many of those. So you can get that in group. You can also, like Victor mentioned, get assistance from your supervisor. So again, coming back to, it is what you make of it. It's really what you prefer and what you feel is going to best set you up to get your FAFSA completed. Great question.